Maya lived in a small house at the end of Maple Street. Most people in the neighborhood knew the house was quiet, but they did not know why. Inside, Maya and her husband Omar cared for their baby boy, Noah. Noah was 8 months old, and he needed extra help every single day. Since the day he was born, his body did not move the way other babies moved. His arms stayed still most of the time, and his legs stayed still most of the time. The doctors explained that Noah's nerves and muscles were very weak. They also said progress could be slow, and nobody could promise anything. Maya listened to those words again and again in her head. She tried to stay strong, but some nights she cried quietly in the kitchen. Every morning, Maya woke up before the sun. She warmed a bottle, checked Noah's blanket, and softly cleaned his face. She spoke to him in a gentle voice, even when he did not respond much. She told him about the birds outside and the colors of the sky. She described the smell of tea and the sound of the kettle. Maya believed words could reach places that hands could not reach yet. Noah watched her with big eyes that seemed older than his age. He could not wave, but he could look, and he could listen. Maya treated those small things like gifts. Omar worked at a repair shop across town. He left early and came back late, with grease on his hands and worry in his face. He loved Noah deeply, but he felt helpless when he looked at the crib. He wanted to fix the problem like he fixed broken machines. But this was not a machine, and love did not come with tools. Some evenings Omar sat on the floor beside the crib and talked softly. He told Noah stories about football games, old friends, and funny moments from work. He kept his voice calm because he did not want Maya to hear fear in it. Maya heard it anyway, because a mother hears everything. Across the street lived an older woman named Rose. Rose had lived in that neighborhood longer than anyone could remember. Her hair was silver, and her steps were slow, but her eyes were sharp. She noticed the way Maya carried Noah carefully, like glass. She noticed the way Omar's shoulders stayed tense, even on weekends. She noticed the silence around their home, the kind of silence that feels heavy. Rose did not ask questions in a loud way. Instead she watched, waited, and thought about what she could do. Rose had her own memories of hard days. Years ago she had cared for her sister during a long illness. She learned that families can get tired without meaning to. She also learned that hope can become small, like a candle that needs shelter. Rose believed people do not always need advice, but they often need support. So she decided to offer something simple, something warm, something living. One afternoon Rose visited a local shelter with a bag of treats. She did not plan to bring home a puppy at first. She only wanted to look and see what was there. The shelter was full of barking, wagging tails, and hopeful eyes. Rose walked slowly along the cages and greeted each animal softly. Most dogs jumped and begged for attention. Then she saw a small puppy sitting quietly in the corner. The puppy had brown fur, white paws, and gentle eyes that did not look scared. He did not bark, but he leaned forward as if he understood her calm voice. Rose knelt down and held out her hand. The puppy sniffed her fingers and licked them once, like a careful promise. Rose felt something in her chest loosen, like a knot finally relaxing. Rose took the puppy home that day. She fed him warm food and gave him a small blanket. She watched him follow her around the house like he belonged there already. But Rose did not bring the puppy home for herself. She brought him home because she kept thinking about Noah. She kept thinking about how babies understand comfort, even without words. She kept thinking about how a puppy can fill a room with gentle energy. She kept thinking about how love can arrive in a new shape. That evening, Rose walked across the street with the puppy in her arms. The puppy's ears were floppy, and his tail swished like a soft brush. Rose knocked on Maya's door and waited. Maya opened the door with Noah resting against her shoulder. Maya looked tired, but she tried to smile. Rose asked if she could come in for a minute. Maya stepped aside and invited her inside. The living room was neat and quiet. A small crib stood near the window, and a stack of baby blankets sat on a chair. Maya adjusted Noah's position and looked at Rose with polite curiosity. Rose took a slow breath and then revealed the puppy. Maya's eyes widened, and she almost laughed from surprise. Rose explained that the puppy needed a loving home. Rose said she thought Noah might need a friend. Maya hesitated immediately, because she already felt overwhelmed. She said caring for Noah was already a full day and a full night. She said adding a puppy sounded hard and risky. Rose nodded and did not argue. Rose only said that sometimes a friend brings help instead of extra work. Rose said the puppy was gentle and calm, and she had noticed that. Rose asked Maya to let the puppy sit near Noah for a moment, just for a try. Maya looked down at Noah's face. Noah's eyes were open, watching. Maya slowly nodded and sat on the couch. Rose placed the puppy on a soft blanket near Noah. The puppy did not jump or bark. He walked carefully closer, sniffed Noah's tiny fingers, and then sat down. Noah stared at the puppy like he had never seen anything so interesting. His eyes followed the puppy's small movements. The puppy tilted his head and gave a quiet little sound. Noah's mouth opened slightly, as if he wanted to copy the sound. Maya held her breath and leaned closer. Noah's fingers twitched once, very small, but real. Maya did not speak, because she did not want to break the moment. Rose watched carefully and kept her face calm, but her eyes softened. The puppy gently touched Noah's hand with his nose. Noah's fingers moved again, and this time they stayed curled for a second. Maya felt tears in her eyes, but she blinked them back. She told herself it could be random. She told herself she had hoped before, and she had been disappointed before. But something about the puppy's calm presence felt different. The room felt warmer, even though the heater was not stronger. The silence felt lighter, even though nobody was talking much. Noah kept staring, focused, awake, and curious. For Maya, that focus alone felt like a new door opening. Omar came home later that night. He walked in, took off his shoes, and called out quietly. Maya met him near the hallway, her eyes shining in a way he had not seen lately. She led him into the living room without explaining right away. Omar froze when he saw the puppy curled near the crib. Maya whispered that Rose had brought him. Omar looked confused, then worried, then curious. He stepped closer and watched Noah's eyes track the puppy again. Omar saw Noah's fingers twitch as the puppy shifted. Omar sat down slowly, like he was afraid to move too fast. He placed his hand over his mouth and stared, stunned by something so small. Maya touched Omar's arm and nodded, as if to say she saw it too. Rose stood near the door, ready to leave, giving them space. Before she left, Rose said the puppy's name at the shelter had been Buddy. Maya repeated the name softly, and it felt right. That night, Buddy stayed close to Noah, like he had chosen his place. Maya sat nearby for a long time, watching both of them. In her heart, a tiny candle of hope flickered, and it did not go out. Buddy became part of the house from the very next morning. He woke up early and sat near Noah's crib without making noise. Maya noticed that Buddy seemed to understand the quiet of the home. He did not bark loudly or jump around like other puppies. Instead he moved slowly and watched Noah closely. Noah opened his eyes and searched the room until he found Buddy. His gaze stayed fixed on the puppy with strong focus. Maya started placing Buddy beside Noah during the day. She spread a soft blanket on the floor and gently laid Noah on it. Buddy would walk over and sit near Noah's chest. Sometimes he rested his head close to Noah's hand. Noah stared at Buddy's fur and blinking eyes. His breathing became calmer when Buddy was close. Maya felt something peaceful fill the room. At first Maya told herself not to expect miracles. She had learned to protect her heart from big hopes. But she could not ignore the small changes anymore. Noah made more sounds when Buddy was near him. His mouth opened wider and stayed open longer. His eyes moved faster when Buddy shifted positions. Maya leaned closer every time just to be sure. One afternoon Buddy rolled a small cloth ball near Noah. The ball stopped close to Noah's right hand. Buddy waited quietly and watched Noah. Noah's fingers slowly moved toward the cloth. The movement was weak but clear. Maya covered her mouth to stop herself from gasping. She waited and watched as Noah's fingers touched the cloth. Her heart beat hard against her chest. That evening Omar noticed the change as well. He sat on the floor beside Noah and Buddy. Buddy wagged his tail gently when Omar arrived. Noah turned his head slightly toward Omar's voice. Omar froze and stared closely. He spoke again, and Noah turned his head a little more. Omar felt his eyes fill with tears. Omar remembered how many times doctors had spoken carefully. They used calm voices and long pauses. They said improvement could happen or could not happen. Omar always nodded and thanked them politely. Inside he felt lost and unsure. Now he felt something new growing in his chest. It was not certainty, but it was hope. Rose visited often but never stayed long. She watched from a distance and smiled quietly. She noticed how Buddy stayed close to Noah at all times. She noticed how Maya's shoulders seemed less tense. She noticed how Omar laughed more freely. Rose felt thankful that she trusted her heart that day. Maya began reading about gentle therapy. She learned about touch and sound and calm movement. She started copying small exercises she found in books. She always let Buddy stay near during these moments. Buddy never got in the way. He watched carefully and stayed still when needed. It felt like he knew his role. Noah responded best when Buddy was present. His eyes stayed open longer during exercises. His fingers curled more often around soft objects. His legs moved slightly when Buddy brushed against them. Maya counted every movement as a victory. She wrote notes in a small notebook each night. She recorded times and reactions carefully. One morning Maya noticed something unexpected. Noah laughed softly when Buddy licked his cheek. It was not loud, but it was real. Maya froze and then laughed too. She had not heard that sound before. She picked Noah up and held him close. Buddy jumped around her feet happily. That day Maya decided to film Noah and Buddy together. She wanted to remember these moments forever. She placed her phone carefully and pressed record. Buddy sat near Noah as usual. Noah's hand lifted slightly toward Buddy's face. Buddy leaned in and stayed still. Noah's fingers touched Buddy's nose gently. Maya watched the video again and again. She noticed movements she missed before. She noticed how Noah tried harder when Buddy was near. She showed the video to Omar that night. Omar watched silently with wide eyes. He replayed the clip several times. He placed his hand over his heart. Omar suggested they show the video to the doctor. Maya felt nervous but agreed. She knew the doctor might explain it calmly. She knew he might say it was coincidence. But she also knew she had to try. Hope felt too strong to ignore now. At the clinic, the doctor watched carefully. He did not speak at first. He asked Maya many questions about daily routines. He asked about Buddy and his behavior. He asked about Noah's reactions. He watched the video several times. The doctor explained that emotional connection matters deeply. He said comfort and trust can wake responses. He said Noah seemed more alert and engaged. He said the puppy provided calm stimulation. Maya listened closely and nodded. Her hands shook slightly from emotion. The doctor suggested bringing Buddy during therapy sessions. He suggested continuing gentle exercises at home. He did not promise a full recovery, but he acknowledged clear progress. That acknowledgement felt huge to Maya and Omar. At home that night Maya placed Noah on the floor again. Buddy lay beside him calmly. Noah turned his head toward Buddy without help. Maya felt tears fall freely this time. She did not wipe them away. She let herself feel the moment fully. Omar sat beside them and held Maya's hand. The room felt different now. It felt alive and warm and full. The quiet was no longer heavy. It was peaceful and hopeful. Buddy rested his head on Noah's chest. Noah's hand moved and stayed there. The movement lasted longer than ever before. Maya whispered Noah's name softly. Noah made a small sound in response. Outside the house the street stayed the same. People walked by without knowing the change inside. But inside that small home something important had started. A bond had formed that nobody expected. A puppy and a baby were moving forward together. And hope was no longer just a thought. Life inside the small house began to follow a new rhythm. Every morning Maya placed Noah on the soft mat near the window. Sunlight entered gently and warmed the room. Buddy always walked to the same spot beside Noah. He sat quietly and waited as if this was his duty. Noah searched for Buddy with his eyes the moment he was laid down. Maya started noticing stronger reactions day by day. Noah stayed awake longer during playtime. His eyes followed Buddy with deep focus. His fingers opened and closed more often. Sometimes his hand lifted slightly off the mat. Maya watched closely and counted each movement carefully. She kept writing notes every night in her notebook. She wrote about Noah's head movements. She wrote about his fingers and small leg motions. She wrote about how Buddy stayed calm and patient. She wrote about how Noah seemed happier. These notes became her quiet proof. Omar changed too during this time. He came home earlier whenever he could. He sat on the floor with Noah and Buddy. He talked gently and slowly. He noticed Noah turning toward his voice more often. This made Omar feel closer to his son. One afternoon Rose came by with a small gift. It was a soft toy shaped like an animal. She handed it to Maya with a warm smile. Maya placed it near Noah during playtime. Noah did not react much to the toy at first. But when Buddy nudged the toy closer Noah's fingers moved. Buddy pushed the toy gently toward Noah again. Noah's hand lifted slowly and touched the fabric. The movement was slow but steady. Maya felt her breath stop for a moment. She did not want to distract Noah. She let the moment happen naturally. Noah's fingers stayed on the toy longer than before. His hand did not fall away quickly. Maya felt joy and fear mixed together. She feared hoping too much again. But the progress was impossible to ignore. The next doctor visit felt different. Maya walked into the clinic with confidence. Omar held Noah carefully. Buddy walked beside them calmly. The nurse smiled when she saw the puppy. During the examination Buddy stayed near Noah. The doctor asked Maya to repeat some exercises. Noah responded with more alert movements. He turned his head without help. His fingers curled around a soft object. The doctor watched closely without interrupting. After the examination, the doctor spoke gently. He said Noah was showing clear improvement. He said the connection with Buddy mattered deeply. He explained that emotional safety helps the body respond. He encouraged continued therapy and patience. Maya felt her eyes fill with tears. These tears were not only sadness anymore. They carried relief and hope. Omar thanked the doctor quietly. Rose waited outside with a peaceful smile. At home Maya began new daily routines. She scheduled small therapy sessions. Each session was calm and slow. Buddy was always present. Noah responded best when Buddy stayed close. Sometimes Noah became tired quickly. Buddy sensed this and lay still. He rested his head near Noah's chest. Noah's breathing slowed and relaxed. Maya noticed how Buddy adjusted naturally. Neighbors started noticing changes too. They saw Maya smiling more often. They heard laughter coming from the house. They saw Omar walking Buddy proudly. Some neighbors asked gentle questions. Maya did not explain everything. She simply said Noah was doing better. She believed progress should be protected. She wanted to move slowly and carefully. One evening Noah surprised everyone. Buddy lay beside him as usual. Omar spoke softly from across the room. Noah turned his head clearly toward the sound. Maya dropped the towel she was holding. She rushed closer and called Noah's name. Noah moved his head again. This time the movement was stronger. Omar knelt beside them with wide eyes. He whispered Noah's name again. Noah responded with a small sound. It was not a word, but it was clear. Maya laughed and cried at the same time. Buddy wagged his tail softly. The room filled with joy. That night Maya sat alone after everyone slept. She looked at Noah sleeping peacefully. Buddy lay curled beside the crib. Maya thought about the early days. She remembered the fear and silence. She realized how much had changed. Not just Noah but everyone. Hope had returned slowly. It did not arrive loudly. It arrived quietly through a puppy. Omar joined her quietly. They sat together without speaking much. They watched Noah and Buddy breathe peacefully. Omar held Maya's hand tightly. Neither of them wanted to break the moment. From that night forward Maya believed something deeply. Progress does not always follow rules. Sometimes it follows love. Sometimes it arrives through kindness. Sometimes it comes on 4 small paws. The house that once felt heavy now felt alive. Every small movement mattered. Every day brought new strength. Noah was still learning and growing. And Buddy stayed by his side always. Hope was no longer fragile. It was growing stronger every day. Time passed slowly but steadily inside the small house. Each day followed a gentle routine filled with patience and care. Maya woke early and prepared the room before Noah opened his eyes. She placed him on the mat near the window where sunlight felt warm. Buddy walked to his usual spot and sat close without being asked. Noah searched for Buddy with his eyes and smiled softly when he found him. The therapy exercises became part of daily life. Maya moved Noah's arms gently and carefully. She spoke softly and encouraged him with calm words. Buddy stayed close and watched every movement. Noah stayed alert longer than ever before. His hands moved more freely during these moments. Omar noticed strength growing in Noah's neck. He saw Noah hold his head up for a few seconds. These seconds felt like hours to them. Maya clapped softly to encourage him. Buddy wagged his tail slowly, as if cheering. One afternoon something unexpected happened. Maya placed Noah on the mat as usual. Buddy sat beside him quietly. Noah lifted his arm higher than before. His hand moved toward Buddy on its own. The movement was slow but clear. Buddy leaned closer and stayed still. Noah's fingers wrapped around Buddy's fur. The grip was weak but real. Maya froze and watched carefully. Her heart felt like it might stop. Noah held on for a few long seconds. His arm did not fall right away. Maya knelt beside him and whispered encouragement. Omar rushed into the room after hearing her voice. He dropped to his knees beside them. Omar watched Noah hold Buddy. His eyes filled with tears instantly. He placed his hand over his mouth. Maya could not speak at all. The moment felt too powerful. Rose arrived later that day for a visit. She noticed the energy in the room immediately. Maya showed her what Noah could do now. Rose watched quietly with shining eyes. She smiled and nodded gently. Rose said very little. She believed moments like these did not need words. She only placed her hand over her heart. She thanked Buddy softly for being gentle. The next doctor visit brought more good news. The doctor observed Noah carefully during exercises. He saw stronger responses and better focus. He confirmed continued progress. He encouraged the family to continue slowly. Maya felt proud but stayed careful. She knew progress needed time. She knew Noah still faced challenges. But she also knew something important had changed. At home the house felt brighter every day. Maya laughed more often. Omar spoke with hope in his voice. The silence no longer felt heavy. It felt peaceful and safe. Neighbors began stopping by more often. They asked how Noah was doing. Maya shared small updates with gentle smiles. She did not boast or rush the story. She protected Noah's journey carefully. One evening something happened that stunned everyone. Maya placed Noah on the floor for playtime. Buddy lay beside him as always. Noah pushed his legs slightly against the mat. His body shifted forward just a little. Maya stared in disbelief. Omar rushed closer instantly. Noah pushed again with effort. The movement was small but clear. It was the first time Noah moved himself forward. Maya cried openly this time. She hugged Omar tightly. Buddy barked softly with excitement. Noah made a happy sound. The room filled with joy. That night Maya stayed awake watching Noah sleep. Buddy lay curled near the crib. Maya thought about the neighbor who brought the puppy. She thought about simple kindness. She realized how one small act changed everything. Omar joined her quietly. They sat together holding hands. They talked softly about the future. They spoke with hope instead of fear. Days turned into weeks. Noah continued growing stronger. He learned to lift his arms higher. He learned to move his legs with effort. Each step forward mattered deeply. Buddy never left his side. He stayed calm and patient always. He rested when Noah rested. He played gently when Noah was awake. One morning Noah surprised everyone again. Maya placed him on the mat as usual. Buddy sat nearby watching closely. Noah pushed himself slightly and rolled onto his side. Maya screamed softly in joy. Omar rushed in and laughed loudly. Buddy wagged his tail wildly. Noah smiled proudly as if he knew. The house felt filled with life. Rose came later that day and saw the change. She knelt beside Noah carefully. She praised him gently. She looked at Buddy with gratitude. Rose said kindness does not need planning. She said it only needs heart. Maya held her hand tightly. She thanked her again and again. Months later the story spread quietly through the street. People spoke about the baby and the puppy. They spoke about hope and patience. They spoke about love showing up unexpectedly. Noah was still growing and learning. His journey was not finished. But he was moving forward every day. He was stronger than before. Buddy stayed beside him always. Their bond remained unbreakable. Together they showed everyone something powerful. That love can unlock strength. That hope can arrive in the smallest ways. And inside that small house at the end of the street, life continued with warmth and belief. A paralyzed baby and a gentle puppy changed everything.